Hey, welcome everybody to the Superior Adventures Guild. I'm Bleakseason, your GM for tonight and every Thursday night. It's kind of the thing I do. Tonight, we're continuing the 5-part conclusion of the first season of the Shadesong Saga. This last saga is called In the Shadow of Our Pale Companion, which, as with all my titles, is the name of a heavy metal song. So, you can go look it up and get yourself a sweet, sweet song. Our saga tonight is First Cut Deepest. It is episode 3 and features the return of super assassin Clothgilda, who was last seen arguing on a mountainside with the strange apple-bearing, plague-dispensing shadow creature known as Fugue. You can hit up my website, bleakseason.com, to get all the lore you can handle and more, as well as summaries of past sagas, links to videos of the past sagas, and you can watch all these videos also on our YouTube page on VOD. That's where they are. Tonight's game takes us on the road as Clothgilda travels north back to Kettelheim, where she once failed to assassinate her target, Saga Thane's daughter. And this is going way back to the first saga ever, like 3 years ago. So this one's got mileage on it. She has to finish this job for Fugue, but she's seen things recently that make her think her former boss, Shadesong, might be on the verge of returning after 500 years. As always, I have the absolute immense good fortune to be surrounded by some truly fun and excellent players, and I would absolutely love it if you could meet them right now. Andy, thank you very much. Hey, peoples.
Well, hello.
Hello, party people.
I'm people.
You're people. You're very people. You're all the people. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's ready to throw yourselves off into the deep end, as we like to do over here. Crash, burn, swim if you can. I would like to take a moment here to go around town. Please tell us who you are, where you've been, and what you've done, and what you'd like people to watch you do. I think that's sort of the norm around here. Let us start with Beth. Beth, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you for having me. This is really exciting. Glad
What's up with you?
Little this, little that. As far as where I can be found, here mostly. I've been doing a few Monday Night Mayhem games. Some of them are in the past. You could check them out. I've got something coming up in future weeks, which should be exciting. And I have a link tree with links to all that fun stuff too. It's just my name at Beth Masco, and you can find me there. She
Can you tell us a little bit about your character tonight?
Oh, absolutely. So my character is Catelyn Horn. She is a ranger. She is somebody who is, she just wants to do her job, and she wants to do it well. And hopefully she'll be able to do that tonight.
Awesome. I certainly hope. She will. So happy to have you, Beth and Shadesong. It's gonna be awesome. I think you're in another one coming up soon also. So
oh yeah.
Hopefully you like this and you don't decide that, you never want to come back again.
Cut and run.
Cut and run while you can. Thank you for coming, Matt. I absolutely am thrilled to have you here.
Thanks.
Next, the man with the voice of gold and an unmasked love for frogs.
Boy, I feel like that really sets expectations higher. So I almost was like, I don't think I should say anything just to keep up the. Sorry, Mike is muted. I can't understand. Hi, everyone. I'm Nathan. I am the GM for the Reckless Attack podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons actual play podcast. And yes, indeed, we are often known for our frogs over there. But tonight, I am not here as the GM of the Reckless Attack podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I am, in fact, here as Talfrin Greenway. I am also a ranger, and unlike Catelyn, he would really prefer to not do his job. And if he had to do a job, would probably prefer not to do it well. So that's kind of the energy that he's bringing to this whole situation. But I'm excited to be here.
That's cool. I feel like I'm at school and you're one of my students, because that's pretty much the way they all are these days. I have a question for you, though. Beth and I recently had the opportunity to be on the podcast for the first time. And I don't know about you, Beth, but I certainly felt that it was quite different than being on stream, mostly because I didn't have the stress of the camera in my face, and I felt a lot more relaxed when we played that game. How do you feel about streaming versus podcasting?
It's really it is different for sure. I enjoy both. I enjoy doing both a lot. Podcasting, I feel like I can kind of get a little bit immersed into the act of play. It feels a little bit more like, we're at a table and we're just relaxing and having a nice time, while still trying to remember, hey, I need to describe things for people who are not physically here and looking at the things we're looking at. But stream adds a layer of energy and, like you said, kind of like immediacy and whatnot, which can be good. Sometimes you're like, I really wish this would move a little faster. I wish we could keep this moving because we are live and oh God. But also sometimes when things are hitting right, just getting dialed in front of a live audience is a pretty lovely, magical thing. So always excited when I get to hop onto the camera lifestyle.
Awesome. Well, hopefully there'll be ample of opportunities for you to do that. And your podcast is great. It's really, I find it super tight, and it really you really maintain, we're talking about that energy. And I found on your podcast, you really kind of always maintain that feeling is always in there. And I guess the editing maybe helps with that, but like, I certainly feel listening to it that it's really well condensed and really, it never lags, it never flags. And I think that's very nice.
Thank you very much. The editing does help a lot. Not exclusively, but it does help a lot. Editing is nice.
I know. I could ask you like a million questions about it, but we're here for some other stuff. So thank you so much for being here, for answering my questions. And next up, Shelly. Hey, Shelly. How you doing, Shelly?
Hey, I'm good. I'm feeling a little self-conscious about my voice now, though, because I don't have a voice of a podcaster. However, I will do my best. Me. I am Shelly. I've been gaming forever, and I've kind of just started dipping my toes into gaming with everybody here. And it's been super fun, and I've done a lot of really fun things. I'm hoping to do more fun things, as long as I don't screw it up tonight.
That's right. You're being watched.
Yes.
You're in. You're fine. No worries.
It's good. It's good.
It's all good. Just I hear you about the voice. I listen to my stream sometimes just to kind of get caught up or just see what I can improve, and my voice kills me. So
Same.
It's that cringe factor.
Thank you. Do a super fake voice, and then you won't quite be so worried about it.
That's why, being a GM, I get to do all these weird NPC voice and
yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, Charlotte. It's the first time playing together. I'm super excited.
As am I.
All right. And finally, Molly MJ Russell, our Cloth Gilda, returning for some more shenanigans. How you doing, Molly?
I'm good. Happy to be back. I'm Molly. I normally could be found back in the day. I've on Saturday mornings, I had a TTRPG kind of chatting stream called Heroes Brunch, which was just Heroes Feast with waffles. And we do a lot of work raising money for charities. Currently on hiatus, because I'm dealing with the level 1 human that I just created this summer. But we will be back there soon. Otherwise, I'm MJ_Russell on socials generally, and happy to be back playing Cloth Gilda, who was described just earlier in our prep as a murder machine. She is an Orcan assassin and has been hanging around the story for quite a while. So I'm super happy and so privileged that I get to come back and murder a little bit.
And we're extremely stoked to have you back. My only question is, why don't we have waffles? I feel like we should have waffles.
I would love to have waffles right now.
Damn.
I think that should become in the new year a thing with Shadesong and waffles. I like it.
Perfect combination.
Perfect combination. Super happy to have you back, Molly. You were so awesome last time. I look forward to doing this. All of you, you're also amazing. I look forward to diving into this. So let's do that. Let us dive in and get this show on the road. A couple more shout outs before we do. I promise to be brief. As I mentioned, I am Bleakseason. You can find me at the Bleakseason on Twitter. Right here every Thursday and every other Sunday where I do Blade Runner. Before we begin, I'd like to extend a few thanks, some shout outs. Big thanks to Andy, my producer here on Shadesong, my better half, my second me. I don't know what to call him anymore. Thanks also to Miko for some of the artwork that I use in the sagas. Shout out to Tabletop Audio for the music, the incredible animated dungeon maps on Patreon for the awesome maps. There's going to be some ugly ones. Those are the ones I made. The really gorgeous ones. That's from Animated Dungeon Maps. And Hero Forge for the minis. Special thank you to Dave for overlays, promos, and that special pinewood scent that emanates from all fabled outdoorsmen, as well as Ashley from the production team for the promo. Finally, massive thank you to all the members of the Superior Adventures Guild in our Discord, playing our games, including our awesome players here tonight and people in chat. Drop by our Discord, make yourself at home, maybe get in a game or two. We're slowly starting the casting process for the new year. And I know I have room in Shadesong and a few other games I'll be running, including Vason. So come out and hang out with us, you know? We're not a bad bunch. Not a bad bunch. Not a bad bunch. We try our best. All right. Without further ado, as the bard used to say, let us crack on. You all have found your way in one way or another to this area that I have on the map here on the Owlbear. A little town called Nordgate, which is on the way up to the only road that leads to Kettelheim, where the giants, the Jotun, live. The town itself is a small little hamlet, quite quaint. And as you wake up, and the map has disappeared, but it'll reappear in a second. I don't know why it's not reappearing. Ah, there it is. The map always does that to me. Evil maps. See, I'm not even touching it. It's moving on its own. The town is itself very small, sort of last outpost before the wild, you know, sort of out there. When you wake up, it has started to snow as we are quite well into winter by this point. And you are in the shadows of the Kettelheim Mountains that look down on you like these frost-tipped giants that are quite foreboding, but at the same time, majestic and beauteous in their own way. We begin with Cloth Gilda, who, as is her wont, has crept in the middle of the night, in the dark, found her way to the loft in the stables and fallen asleep there, better to not be seen or recognized. Cloth Gilda, you're, as usual, sleeping a dreamless sleep, when suddenly you hear a voice that says, "You're being watched."
Gilda is instantly awake.
You wake up, and it's still just before dawn, so it's still quite dark, with just a little bit of that magic hour light about to sort of come in. And as you wake up and look around you, surrounded by the bales of hay and the floating moats and a little bit of the snow that's drifting in from the open window at the top, you notice in the corner a pair of red eyes staring at you. Eyes that you recognize as belonging to your frenemy, the dwarf they call Stovepipe, who you recently assigned on a little mission for you. And he says, as he leans forward out of the shadows, his little eyes sort of glinting, "I've been here for a while, you know. I would have expected you to wake up sooner. Are you getting rusty, perhaps?"
Make yourself very lucky that you're still breathing.
"Oh, I count myself very lucky every time I talk to you, and I'm still breathing on the other end of it. It's, what, 5-6 times now? It's probably a world record."
Currently, yes, you, how are you the one?
Probably my charm.
Absolutely not it. Why are you here?
Well, I thought you'd want a first-hand account of what happened back there, the little to-do after you left us so unceremoniously. Where did you end up?
I had... I may have accidentally jumped into a misty step I was not prepared to take. And
Well,
let's
get
just leave it at that.
Well,
Did the Umber Keep explode?
no, but I don't think the floor is doing too well. It sort of collapsed, and everyone
What
sort
did
of
you
fell.
do?
I didn't do anything. I have no clue what went on. There's just this rumble, this gout of flame, and just, there I am, suddenly alone in that throne room, and everyone's like 50 feet below.
What happened?
Well, I tried to do like you told me, which is I tried to get that silver black ball that flying bitch had, but things got messed up. It fell. Then those clowns you were with, those two giants, and then the two dark ones, they started fighting over this. I thought it was pretty funny, so I let them go at it for a little while. In the end, one of the dark ones picked up the ball and he started to disintegrate. And then when all those ghosts came out, one of them saw some ghost that freaked him out, and then he kind of just lost all will to live and do whatever. And anyways, in the end, one of them got disintegrated. The two giants left with that little ball you wanted me to get. And I went for drinks with the other one because he was having a rough time. It's something about like suddenly remembering his dead daughter from 500 years. It was a mess. He cried. Like we went through like 6 bottles of wine. It was messy.
Do you recall which one disintegrated?
Yeah, they called him Uvesh, Cicero, something like that. He
Got
disintegrated. He touched that thing, but you know what? Before he went, like he seemed at peace. Like he looked like he was having a lot of trouble. The others were fighting.
I don't
him.
care.
All right, fine. I'm just reporting. It's what you pay for. Well, not pay because you're not paying me, but you know what I mean.
No, I shouldn't be shorts. I just woke up.
Nah, it's all right. I understand. Anyways, the two giants took off with that ball of silver and gold and darkness, and they were gonna cure some people or something with it. Anyways, I thought you should know.
You didn't get the ball.
No. They were giants. What was I to do?
Oh. No, that's great. Nope.
To
All
be
right.
fair, once I saw the other one disintegrate when she touched it, I was a little reticent to get my little hands around it. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Yeah, bad for the soul.
Look, I need to get to the Dawn Gates, and so I don't really have time for this, but what?
Yeah. Now you're serious?
Yes, I have time. I can make it there.
Well, he sort of gets up and stretches. You got time, but you're never gonna find him.
What do you mean? I'm perfectly capable of finding it.
Mr.
Giant gates.
You're the single most capable person I've ever met in my life. But ever since that big to-do a few months ago, last spring, the whole battle there with the giants and all that, they kind of gotten a little bit touchy. And, they, did some improvements, you can say. And they got this whole thing now where there are certain people that just can't see those gates anymore. And you're exactly the kind of people that can't see those gates anymore.
Fuck.
Yeah. Sorry. And before you ask, I'm also the kind of people that can't see those gates anymore. You're gonna have to find yourself, someone who likes to hug trees. Yeah.
Sure.
I know how much you hate talking to people you're not about to kill, so it's gonna be really hard on you. But you're gonna have to try.
Have you killed them after we find the gates, I suppose?
Well, you do you. Look, I have stuff to do, so unless you're going to try to kill me, I'm probably just going to take off.
I don't want to spoil your record.
You're very kind. I appreciate it. People say that there's no kindness in your soul, but there's a shred there. I can see it. There's
Watch it.
All right. Anyways, See you when I see you, and you know, good luck.
I don't need luck.
Good luck, anyways. I think it'd be kind of lonely going through all these centuries without, running into you once in a while. So hopefully stick around for a few more.
See you in 50 years.
Yeah. Take care. Climbs up through the window. He jumps off. The next thing you see is a flight of blackbirds just taking off.
Ooh.
He was at.
Find friendly people. I'm next to an inn, right?
Yep. You can hear like the sounds of people talking happily and food being cooked.
I will go look for breakfast.
Probably a wise move. So you gather your things and head on down. Meanwhile, in the inn, sitting at a table in a corner, having just enjoyed their last evening in relative comfort for a little while, are two Waldron sitting at a table. What, pray tell, would people see if they were to glance over at your table?
Well, they would see a woman with light hair, clothes that are very clearly meant for the outdoors and frankly nowhere else. And she'll be sitting across from a young man, and she's got a pack open, sort of gathering things, checking once, again, to see if they've got all the things that they need, but she's very meticulously placing things back in her pack, not quite paying attention to the young man across from her.
And what is this young man like?
The young man is sipping from some tankard of some sort, who knows what it contains, and is just kind of leaning back in his chair as his companion or erstwhile companion is packing up responsibly. And he is just kind of sort of to himself, sort of to her, sort of just loudly, just saying like, wow, I just think that if we took this alternate route, we'd, it's a little bit longer, a little less direct, but we'd be able to go to all these other cool places. And I think that's a no-brainer trade as far as I'm concerned. And you're just all, let's go in the one direction, and that's whatever.
Well, but who between the two of us has actually made this journey before?
Well, all the more reason to go see all the places. Like I don't want to come back here. This place. I mean, look at it. I'm not going to be back this way. There's nothing cool here. And so I'd like to just try to check off as much as possible, as and just see if there's anything kind of worthwhile in this area, and then keep moving.
There's not. I can assure you that the route that we're taking, you get to see some sights, a lot of natural beauty of the world, but it's the safest way to get where you need to go, and that's our goal here.
I don't know too much about safe, young Catelyn. As Sully, the barkeep, comes by, brings you plates of breakfast. I would like to mention, Shelley, that we'll get to your character in a second, and your character overhears all this as you are nearby. I don't know that safe's really the word I'd use anymore. Here you go. Where did you get that tankard? I didn't serve you a tankard. Is that from last night? I just grabbed it. I left coins up at the front. I'm sorry, where I come from, that's kind of how things are done there. So I apologize if, my customs, your customs don't jive, but coins, it's right there. I'm just worried about you. Who knows where that thing's been?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know.
He looks at you kind of like, ooh, you got a live one here.
I'm very familiar with the dangers ahead. I say safe merely because I know what's out there, at least to some extent. Frankly, there's not a single safe way to get where we're going.
No, there isn't. But I'm telling you, things have changed a little bit. There's like all sorts of talk of giants running up there now, and there's like these plumes of smoke coming out of the forest, and there's something afoot up there. I'd be very careful if I was you. It's not like it was last spring when you went up there.
All the more reason to take a familiar route that will be better equipped to handle any surprises that come along the way. And she'll look pointedly at Talfrin.
Talfrin like looks pointedly back at you and kind of rolls his eyes, knowing, and he has already probably ranted to you about this at any point in the journey of just how these people are so dramatic. They'll say, you know, they hear a branch snap wrong and they're like, must be giants. And you don't listen, but it's whatever.
All right, well,
Fine.
if you get et, young man, you don't come complaining to me afterwards.
Well, I won't be able to because I'll be et. So
You do make a fine point.
I
there.
won't.
Caitlin, if you can, make sure he gets eaten by a giant, would you?
Oh, I will do my best.
And he leans in and he's like, but seriously, love, I might consider trying to get some numbers. It's definitely not safe like it used to be up there. And I know you're capable and all that, but he looks over at Talfrin. Seems like you've got a handicap this time, so I don't know. Perhaps see if anybody else is going up there. Might be better for y'all. I'd like to see you here again on your way back.
I'd like to see you as well. And I guess safety in numbers is true. Maybe we can find somebody.
I'll look around. I'll ask around if there's anybody else going up.
Someone
right,
not from here, preferably.
Right.
Out of towner.
He takes your mug away from you.
That was mostly done.
Meanwhile, at the bar, overhearing this exchange, is another woman who definitely does not look like she's from around these parts. Shelley, could you tell us about yourself a little bit?
Sure. I'm kind of a smallish, on the smallish side human. I've got mostly kind of dark, comfortable looking clothing accented with a red hood and cape and little blue colors to match the very pale blue eyes that I have, and like white eyebrows and hair.
And as you, I'm sorry.
Oh, and if you watch me long enough, you might see me go into like a 10,000 yard stare just for a little bit. Almost like I'm listening to something. And then I go back.
Like I said, obviously not from around here. However, Clothgilda, as you enter the tavern, you do recognize Lucha Nero standing near the bar, absorbed in thought, as she so often is.
Lucha.
Clothgilda, it is wonderful to see you again.
Is it?
It is. You do not feel the same for me? I am so happy to see you.
Thrilled, likewise.
Would you like a whiskey? Sully, over here.
Yes, right away, miss. The barkeep comes over.
Do me a favor and get another whiskey for my friend here.
Another breakfast whiskey, yes. Right away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I love what you've done with the place, by the way. It's very, very lovely. You must always take pride in your work, and I can see that you do.
Oh, we try. We know we're just a little, frontier concern here. We're not, it's not Segovia or anything like that. He comes over and he puts the drinks down in front of you. I don't think I've seen you here before, young lady. Unless I missed you coming in last night.
No, I'm an early traveler.
Oh, you know what they say about early travelers?
No.
They arrive early. As you're watching him go, you hear a voice in your head, Lucha, a little voice that you know very well, and every time it sort of comes upon you, you kind of get a little whiff of, that musty smell of old tombs and a bit of a little cold wind blowing on the back of your neck. And you hear, "Oh, this is interesting. Your friend, she also has a follower. Oh, it's strange. It clings to her, yet it doesn't seem to really be there. That's very strange. Does she know about him?"
In my head, I will say, I have no idea. I
Never
didn't
noticed this
know.
before.
Is it like you, only on her? Or is it
Not quite like me. It seems to be very weak, very distant, but it's kind of like a cloying smell. How someone will walk into the room and the smell will follow them a few seconds later. It's like this ghostly smell, but it's clearly someone. Very interesting.
I don't know if I can ask her about it. She is very big and she seems angry right now. The reports I've read, she's not a morning person. So maybe I wait until the whiskey has taken effect.
Perhaps. I will tell you something, though. That thing that is hovering about her seems interested in somebody else here. That table in the corner with the two wood eldrin. One of them seems to have grabbed the attention of this sepulchral miasma that's following her.
But they're so dirty.
They are indeed. Let me cogitate upon this. The voice goes out. As usual, you feel this little kind of, emptiness there for a second before you sort of come back to the moment at hand, so to speak.
Clothgilda, are you ready to make the journey?
Are you also going north?
Yes, I thought you knew I was here to assist you and take the trip up.
Great.
It is,
Thrilled
isn't it?
Lovely. We need more than just us.
Well,
Excuse me. Hey, excuse me. Yeah, the breakfast whiskey people.
Clothgilda turns, both knives out.
Oh.
No violence,
yes.
no violence, please. No violence. Just have the floors cleaned.
Yes, you tree people.
Wildlings. Have you not? It's not important. Catelyn, I heard you. The guy, the giants, the tree branches. Thoughts? These?
Yes.
They're going north. You're going north, right?
You sound perfect for us. I maybe heard a little bit of your conversation. I promise I was
Are you
not
listening in? Because I
eavesdropping.
will cut your ears off.
She will.
I was not listening in. However, it seems like we're both heading in the same direction, both of our parties here. What do you say we go together? Lighten the load a little bit, extra eyes for safety.
I'll turn to Clothgilda and I'll tell her I did overhear this one, and I'll indicate towards Caitlin has taken this journey before, and it is quite dangerous, even for someone as formidable as yourself, and myself too. I think she would be a good choice.
Fun. I was looking for traveling friends. So excellent.
Wonderful.
What
This is
weapons do you
great.
all have?
Oh, little of this, little of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it helps to be prepared, have an array, to work from. Usually with the bow. Down and dirty, not really my thing, but I can if I have to. You understand.
Catelyn will sort of gesture to a large scimitar at her side. You also see a little bit farther down her legs are 2 hand axes in holsters, and she's got a longbow on her back, so she's equipped.
You're not boring. All right.
Thank you.
I can vouch for Miss Catelyn there. She's been up here quite a few times, up and down from the mountain, and she quite knows the way. I certainly would not hesitate to follow her anywhere, really.
Well, if we are all to travel together, then we must make introductions. I am Lucha. This is Clothgilda. And you guys are called what?
Catelyn. It's nice to meet you both.
I am Talfrin, and he stands up and kind of does an elegant bow, and says, "You
Very
both
nice.
seem very interesting, very strong, very tenacious." He points at I assume the 2 knives that are still drawn and pointed. Great traveling companions. Those are all top tier things, in the bullet point list of things to travel with other people. So looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
The in your heads, Lucha, that voice again whispers, "It's definitely the woman that the ghost is interested in. I wonder what that's all about. You might want to keep an eye out. The little one is of no concern. He seems to be rather insignificant. The woman has some meaning, perhaps. Perhaps this meeting is not quite as merely an act of chance after all."
This is very interesting. This is very, very interesting. I am so glad we met them. Thank you for telling me this.
Keep an eye out.
Is Lucha saying all of this out loud?
No. That was in my head
Okay.
too.
Just checking.
But the last bit,
good
I think I would have said out loud. Thank you for making me aware of this. Sometimes it just happens.
So, the lot of you then, having met new friends, as if the game master had arranged it, and being ready to travel north, will go to your respective rooms, pick up your things, get whatever supplies you need from the innkeeper here, or perhaps the general merchant, just on the side of the road. I had forgotten earlier to put up an image of Clothgilda, but I have it up on the Owlbear now if you want to see, just to get an idea of really,
How many murders that she's capable of?
all the murders.
She looks nice.
All the murders. So within a matter of perhaps another half hour or so, you will be ready outside, each of you on your favorite mount, with all your stuff, and we'll be heading north. You will travel for a little while, sort of just going a little bit towards the east, but very soon the road turns north. The snow keeps coming down. It never really picks up too much, but there's still nice, big, fat, wet, snowflakes kind of coming down very slowly, lazily. The forest itself starts becoming a little sparse, as it's mostly coniferous trees now and then leafless trees, although on the south side you still see once in a while some deciduous trees that are still have some of their colors and some of their leaves in. Most of the trip that afternoon you will spend, I guess, wrapped up perhaps in your own thought, contemplating what's going on, keeping an eye on the road ahead. You, Caitlin, realize that there's really not too much different so far from what you have seen before. There's perhaps a little bit less traffic than you're used to, but otherwise things appear. No giants come storming out of the forest to eat you, much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of the innkeeper, if Talfrin ever returns. You will travel like this most of the day, eventually reaching sort of what is the last sort of evened part of the land before it starts really going up into the mountains. I would like everyone to give me an observation check quickly. Quickly here, not quickly like go with, just give me a check. I don't know why I said quickly. I don't know. I'm drunk. What are you gonna do?
That's a 22.
17.
25.
All right.
13.
All right. So unfortunately, Lucha, you're very absorbed in your thoughts and listening to your friend telling you how now this sort of miasmic ghost that was following Clothgilda seems to be very torn as it keeps going towards Caitlin and then keeps coming back and then keeps going towards Caitlin and then keeps coming back and seems to be very undecided about what it wants to do. Thank you very much, Fantasy Animal Vegan, for gifting our players with some advantage. They'll need him if they meet the giants. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And it's very strange, and your friend doesn't quite know what to make of it. The rest of you will notice, as you are kind of starting to look for a place to make camp for the night, that further off to the east, above the line of trees, there are several plumes of dark smoke rising up, still quite a fair bit away that you're not feeling too concerned. But it doesn't look like it's a forest fire or anything like that. It's clearly like some type of campfires, perhaps, or some sort of chimneys or something. And Caitlin, dude, this is something you've never seen before out here. There's literally really no one that lives out in this area too much. There are not a lot of monsters in Eld, but most of them tend to live in the mountainous regions, and so it's very dangerous to live at the base of the mountains like this. So it's a little strange. I mean, it doesn't make you overly worried, but it's definitely sort of strange. As you will find a nice little campsite for the night, you will find yourselves for the first time sitting around a campfire as the snow keeps drifting down, and unfortunately, as opposed to the road, you're sort of all forced to sort of look at each other now, and you don't really have much of an option to stay in your own thoughts unless one of you wants to do it. So as you're sitting down here and have had your dinner, would you please tell me, each of you, what each of you is doing here as you're winding down the day?
Caitlin will be going through her pack again, keeping everything organized exactly as she likes it, sort of setting up a space that is ideal for sleeping, which she has sort of figured out through trial and error on the road. And she'll sort of just be casually glancing at the rest of the group, trying to put together what they might all be thinking as well.
I want to ask you a question, Caitlin, and answer me whatever you want is fine. I'm just wondering if at any point in time during the day you would have given your full name or not.
I don't think it's relevant.
Okay, awesome. No problem. Who else?
Lucha would pull Talfrin aside and say, I didn't mean anything by calling you tree people. I meant no offense whatsoever. It's not even about you being an elf type. It's more about your chosen occupation, perhaps. You seem to be at ease out amongst the trees. And where did you meet Caitlin?
And Talfrin is like, throughout the whole thing, is like over the top reassuring. It's like, oh no, please, you're totally fine. I've been called much worse by much better. Please, all totally fine. Get that a lot. All good. We just ran into each other a little while back. I I wouldn't say I needed a guide. I appreciated a guide. And Catelyn, for all her kind of I have one goal. Don't ask me about my dark past, anything like that, is very good. So,
Wait, what?
you know, we've been traveling together, all that good stuff. Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she's very good at her job, but don't ask me about my dark past.
I didn't say that.
But you did say that.
No, I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure you did.
No, I don't think so. But you know what I do say? We should, you know, while we're all getting to know each other, we should play a game of cards. Game of cards? Anyone? Cards? Huh?
I would take you up on that, sure.
Okay, I look over to Clothgilda. If she's going to do it, I'll do it.
Clothgilda looks up from where she has been sharpening daggers that don't need to be sharpened, but is clearly doing it for the effect. And I could do cards.
Then we will play cards with you.
What better way to get to know people than with a little competition? Friendly competition.
Friendly competition for money. I agree. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to play for money if you prefer not to.
Let's play for secrets.
I like that.
Sure.
A little amorphous, but that's fine. And Talfrin starts dealing out whatever the game of whatever the regional gambling game of choice is.
Fantasy spades.
Yeah, exactly.
Tonk, the game from the Black Company series.
Yeah, perfect.
Lucha, in your head, you hear, there's a pervasive smell of death in this area. It's very pleasant, but I would assume that it probably is not a very healthy thing.
Of death? And I'll say that out loud.
I'm sorry, what?
Play to
No.
the death.
No, it's called Dragon Hand. It's not.
Oh, geez.
That's not
Smell
involved in the
that?
name of this game. That I do know. Death Hand. That is a good
No, no,
game.
no, no.
Could play that, but
It is not the game. The game, whatever we play, will be fine. Do you smell anything in the air?
Their
Nice.
faculties are very imprisoned by their fleshiness, and I don't think they'll. Even your friend's little. Oh no! It's sitting next to the other one. That's very strange. I don't think I'll smell anything.
It's sitting next to the other one.
It seems to have decided that it likes that one better, and he points at Caitlin.
Pretend I never said anything. I do not wish to play to the death. I am sorry, Clothgilda. That was wrong of me to say. Deal.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
So you deal out the cards. How about everyone rolls a d20 and we'll see who comes out on top.
could I please roll with advantage?
Absolutely.
Great.
You can even lie about your total.
19, no lie. Or is it?
Oh no, the three of you can't lie. Only Nathan.
Oh, okay. Well,
Ah,
19 is real.
Just a 10.
that is a 15.
Are we adding anything to this? Or just straight die roll?
Just a straight die roll. You can lie.
Ooh,
Oh, I'm gonna lie.
because I am proficient in a playing card set. Could I maybe have advantage as well?
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
Ooh, but here's the thing: is that all of these are marked cards.
Oh no! I'll stick with my 10 then.
So
Man.
I rolled. So I rolled an 18, but Talfrin is like, wait, and of course, extrapolated into game terms is like a 19's really good though, and if like this is the first hand, if I start cheating now, like that to that level, like let's string them along a little bit, and it's just like, oh wow, well that's a great That is a great hand. Really well played. That's really smart that you held there. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Did you see? Was there a tell or something? Did you see a tell? You must have, because I mean it's well played.
I don't think they're buying it.
Of course they're buying it. Why would they? How would they not buy it? I didn't lie. I didn't lie at all. I didn't lie about my score.
Lucha wins the round.
Show the
Lucha
cards.
can demand a secret.
Might like to know about Caitlin. Give us a secret, if you will.
Fair. Oh gosh, I'm usually an open book, but I would say something that I am loath to tell others. I'm allergic to peaches. I don't know. I don't consider it a weakness as such, but it is a vulnerability, and I don't generally like to share those with others. So now you know.
A little underwhelming.
Yes, I'll say.
She perhaps just need to warm up a little bit.
Can I ask, what's the tone that Catelyn delivers this? Like, does Catelyn treat this as like truly deadly serious? As like, no, you don't understand. I am bearing my soul and telling you my great weakness, and it's peaches.
I would say that you'd be able to tell that she's being a little facetious. She's a fairly open and genuine person. So I would say you would believe that she is allergic to peaches. But she's maybe just not wanting to share more than that at this point. As the first victim of this card game.
The first victim.
Mm-hmm. Should we play another hand?
I mean, only if you guys want to.
Sure.
As you're prepping your cards, Caitlin, you feel suddenly a very cold draft just sort of come down your back, almost like someone or something has run their hand down your back. Not in a creepy way, although it's creepy because there's no one there, but almost like it was like a fond, friendly, just like well done kind of thing. But you totally feel that. And in your head, Lucha here, it touched her. Give us your rolls.
Ooh,
Oh gosh. 19 again. No lie.
that is a natural 20.
Ooh, 16.
They're good. They're good, Talfriend.
Yeah, I rolled a 19. I rolled a 19 though, and now I'm definitely going to cheat. I'm not going to lose 2 in a row. He likes to gamble, but he really likes to win very badly. So I rolled a natural 20. Isn't that so amazing that we had the same thing? We tied.
Sure. I suppose so. Why don't you ask the next question?
Ooh. I know enough about you, Catelyn. See, who do you keep talking to? Is it just yourself? Is it something else, or what? You've been a couple times. You've just kind of said things out loud. Which, hey, I talk out loud all the time. You'll notice as we walk along. But who are you talking to?
I am talking to Kalis. He's my friend. Yes, he's my friend. We get along well. He knows a lot of things. It's very, very helpful to have a friend like that. Does that answer your question?
Ish. Who is this? I mean, your friend, but like, what's the nature of this friendship? And this,
I'm pretty sure that's 2 questions.
Well, Catelyn and I tied, and so that's kind of like 2 questions.
Are you trying to
Like
take
1
her
and a half.
question?
Don't take my question.
Yeah, don't take her question.
Well, Lucia, I would really actually like to know, do you have any food allergies?
Not that I am aware of, actually. It's been a pretty hassle-free life I've led so far in that department.
That is fantastic.
Thank you for your concern.
Absolutely.
There was that shellfish in Segovia last summer that didn't go down well, but it was an isolated incident.
In my head, I say, don't remind me.
So much throwing up.
Is that name familiar at all?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not. I mean, it's a traditional name from the Imperium area. They have
Okay.
something like that, but. Do you play another round or?
One last round?
Sure.
Only 1. I mean, yeah, sure. Let's do 1 more.
It's a 9.
13.
17.
Very bad. Talfrin loses. Doesn't so much care about the secrets. That's just going to be weird answers.
You're a weird answer.
So who won? I missed the rolls.
17, I think. Alfred, what's the worst thing you've ever done?
Ooh. Well, I'm I don't concern myself. I don't over concern myself with things like propriety or manners or arbitrary things that people just decide like, oh yeah, this is important. If I don't understand why they're important, I'll ask. And if none of the answers that I'm getting make any sense to me, no, thank you. And so I take advantage of what other people assume to be correct for my own gain. Nothing overly malicious about it, but just when people decide that they need to play by one set of rules, I don't always necessarily agree that those are the rules we should be playing by. And that has served me well. That has led me to an interesting life. But there was one time that I went too far. And still trying to figure out how to fix it.
Something you need to fix?
Something that I think I need to fix.
I guess you're not boring either.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
What do you consider, I guess, not boring compared to things that might be boring?
Oh, I'm very simple. The way that you take care of your hand axes. Perfectly polished, able to pull at a moment's notice, hidden from those who aren't aware, but fully displayed for anyone who might do you harm. That's interesting. Someone like Talfrin choosing to hang on to a regret, really, when he doesn't need to. That's interesting. Speaking with someone that isn't there. Interesting.
And what makes you interesting?
Oh, I lost interest 300 to 400 years ago in myself.
Seems a shame.
I just want to interject here to say that aside from the Eldrin of the Magisterium, no cultures, no race on Eld lives more than a normal human lifespan. The Waldron, the people you come from, the two of you, basically rejected the Magisterium and left because they felt that what they were doing was unnatural, prolonging their lives so long. So to have an Orkin say that she's been alive at least 300 years would actually be kind of eyebrow raising. Just saying, do what you want with it. Just
Yeah.
fill in the gaps.
And I suppose I'd like to know, what do you do with that much time? You said you lost interest. I mean, that feels like the end of the road, but here you are. So what do you do?
You know how when you spend an afternoon doing a task that is routine, uninteresting, unpleasant, the afternoon seems to last ages, eons. You spend that same afternoon doing something different and interesting, and it flashes by in a moment. I try to fill the time. It's hard. What?
That's the problem. That's you're bored.
Yes, I'm dreadfully bored.
And what's the point of that? Like, life is for living. Life is for meeting new people, doing new things, new experiences, new opportunities, new whatever, new lies, new truths. You live that long and you forget what living is about, and it is about that.
Don't you think though life is about making yourself and the world better by
No.
Nope. Working for something worthwhile, making yourself better at it and better at it?
I think that's a nice consequence. I think making yourself better at something that you like doing is
then you
good.
can contribute to the world in a meaningful way.
Lucha,
Sure.
I agree with you.
But that's byproducts for me. You know, it's if that's what you want to do, absolutely. But that's the point. Are you excited about it? Are you excited about the idea of helping other people, about getting better grades in school, about whatever? Great. Do that. As long as you're excited about it. You better be excited about it though. And if you're doing stuff you're not excited about, why are you doing it? And if you're living for hundreds of years not being excited about it, what are you doing?
I think
You've solved it.
should
you kill me, or should I just find a cliff?
What excites you more? What's more interesting to you? What would you like your last experience to be?
maybe we shouldn't consider last experiences, on this dangerous journey together. Perhaps a better question is, Clothgilda, when was a time where you did feel truly excited about life?
I don't know why I'm sharing this with you all. This. I've never been excited about life that I can recall. So, does that end? Can we go to bed now? This is.
I suppose I'm not trying to be rude, but I feel like that's sad in a way. It just no, Telford, not for the reasons that you seem to believe. Just
We'll see.
Finding joy in things, even when life is difficult and there doesn't seem to be much that would, I don't know, that others might consider to be exciting or interesting. You sort of have to find the interest yourself. I mean, I think one of the most beautiful things is finding interest in the mundane, in the repetition of your life. There's always something new to see.
I couldn't agree more. I do think that finding the beauty in the mundane, the beauty in being a cog in a well-oiled machine, it is something to be proud of, to be nurtured, to be celebrated.
That's because you're a cog, Lucia.
I'm a very happy cog in a very well-oiled machine, as are you.
Clearly not a happy cog.
At least the cog part. We can work on the happy part. I feel if you had,
hear me out, just leave the machine. Maybe you just don't have to be a part of that machine anymore. If you're a cog, that you're unhappy about being a cog, maybe just don't be a part of that machine anymore. Maybe you're actually a wheel. Maybe you're a dinner plate. Maybe you're something else. I don't know. But like, sure, if you're a cog and you have found your calling as being a cog, hell yeah, good for you. I look forward to, I don't know, pushing buttons on whatever, I don't know, windmill you're part of in this kind of hypothetical. But like, if you're not a happy cog, then maybe go be a cog somewhere else or be something else.
Telfrin, in your infinite wisdom and grand life experience,
thank you.
What would you say you are if you're not part of this machine?
I don't know yet. And that's the beauty of it. That's what I'm doing here. Is that I don't
make
I don't
you
know
a
what
part
I'm
of the
doing
machine. You're just sort of going with the flow like everybody else.
No, I make my own flow. I'll put it this way. If we're going with the flow, right? If that's the analogy, then I am a leaf on a river. And sure, there is a flow. It takes me places, but I'm also free, unlike a leaf, maybe a boat on a river. I'm putting this together as I'm talking, so it's not perfect. It's a little late. And I did start the day with breakfast whiskey, so that always kind of clouds the rest of the day. But I am a boat on a river. And yep, absolutely. Sometimes I decide to go with the flow because that sounds like an interesting place to go, but then I take a turn or I pull the boat over and go hiking for a bit or something. And sure, I'm sometimes part of the flow. And honestly, it would be great if one day I figured out exactly the waterway I'm supposed to be on. If I figured out what port I'm supposed to go, great. Absolutely. I will stay there for as long as I am happy doing it and not a moment longer. And if I'm always just on rivers and in the wilds and wherever else, also great. But I will be there either because it was my choice to be or because that was just what fate pushed me to. And then I get to figure it out from there. And that is the beauty of life. And if you do not have that, or if life has gone on for so long that you do not have that in your life anymore, or do not find that exciting or interesting, what's the point?
Let's talk about the point. And boats. I'm not a boat on the water. I am an anchor. And I sank to the bottom a long time ago. And my point is to hold steady. No matter how fast the river goes, how long it is, no matter if the boat is no longer there, I will hold. And this conversation is weird and pointless. And I am very tired, and I'm going to go to sleep because I don't like traveling with people. And this is why. And Clefgilda is going to leave the circle.
Man, a few hundred years, you really get set in your ways, huh? Don't like hearing alternate opinions. Talfrin says to everyone else's, Clothgilda is going on.
Talfrin, why don't you get some rest? Maybe dry your feet. It looks like those boots are leaking, like I told you they would. Just get some rest.
Sounds like a great idea. I would like to do that.
Fantastic.
Lucha looks for that phantomy miasma. Did it follow? Is it still there? And if it is, did it follow Clothgilda, or is it hanging out with Caitlin?
It got up to leave when she did, but then it thought better of it, and it's now sitting between the two of them. We should probably kill that other one in his sleep. He's very annoying.
In my head. See, I couldn't agree more.
Show him what a cock can.
He's ruining the mission here. I don't want him giving her ideas she might not already have.
The grave calls to him.
I look over at Talfrin as I walk over and lay close to Clothgilda where my bag is. Watch him.
Is everyone retiring then, or does anyone want to do something else before retiring?
Just do a
go to
lot of
sleep.
thinking about her compatriots here.
I am already asleep.
Oh, to live without a care in the world.
I will again. Talfrin cares. He has a wrong that he needs to right, but cares about the big things, not the little things that you guys are all caught up in.
So you will, I'm sure, set up some sort of guard rotation. It's fine. I don't need the details of that. You'll lay down, go to bed, each with your own thoughts. As you lay down, Caitlin, you feel like there's a presence that's near you, but it seems to be watching over you as if someone caring for you. Clothgilda, you hadn't really noticed before too much, but now that this sort of specter that's following you is kind of paying attention, someone's kind of moving away, you're suddenly kind of feeling like there's a little something missing, like, almost like you took off a layer of clothing or something. You're just sort of a little off, but you managed to fall asleep nonetheless. Talfrin, you have been, sleeping the sleep of the just, dreaming the dreams of the undisturbed.
As I do every night.
When you hear a voice that says, I need help. Please help me. Please help me. You there, young man. I need your help.
Talfrin wakes up. Who, for the sake of narrative, who is on watch at the moment?
No one appears to be on watch. They're all sleeping soundly. Everyone's sleeping soundly. Everyone's wrapped up in their blankets. You think maybe you were supposed to be on watch, perhaps? You're not too sure, but the fire is burned down really low. The snow has stopped, and you realize that there's like a mist that makes it very difficult to see sort of beyond the immediate little valley where you are. And the voice you can hear now seems to be coming from underneath the bridge, as it says again, "Young man, please, I need your help."
Talfrin goes over to Catelyn and kind of kicks her a little bit. Catelyn
Doesn't even stir.
Well, that's no good. Talfrin like looks around and like does this similar things to everyone, assuming with the same result.
Yeah.
And like holds a hand, like as kind of one final test, like holds his hand out over the fire to see if it is emitting any heat.
It is not.
Talfrin like starts just like, he just kind of like looks down, a little defeated, and starts walking towards the bridge, but is just like flicking himself in the face, being like, "Wake up if you're asleep, wake up, wake up if you're asleep, wake up if you're asleep, wake up. If anyone's out there, if anyone's making me do this, please don't. We can talk in person. Wake up if you're asleep." And just the whole time walking, trudging.
I'm not making you do anything. I, in fact, abhor people who make others do things. I'm talking to you because you seem to be of similar mind. Would you come near, approach? I won't hurt you.
Ooh. Well, I guess I will play the game of Dungeons and Dragons. And could I roll an insight check perhaps?
Yes,
To
please
check some vibes.
for sure.
A 13, middling.
Okay. The person that is talking to you is definitely in distress, and it is definitely interested in getting your help. And that last thing that they said about not liking to make people do things is true.
That's pretty good. Talfrin will still draw his bow because Talfrin is not a trusting sort in that sort of way. But we'll approach and just kind of peer in whatever that like medium distance between like, well, I'm not technically very far away, but I'm also not close to you.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Kind of middle ground.
The voice will say, "I'm afraid my appearance may disturb you somewhat. You would do well to stay there, but I assure you, I mean you no harm. I'm very weak, and I need help. And I think you're just the kind of young man who might be willing to help." And as you're sort of, edging out a little bit, you see a shape under the bridge, and it looks sort of like a man, but when you look closer, you can see it's got horns, almost like a ram, that are going around its head like this, and it's got a face that is somewhat like a fawn. And this creature is dressed in rags, and is just sort of hiding out in the shadows under the bridge, and just pulls out just enough so that the moonlight can hit it. And when you see it, you can see that there's blackness, almost like oil, under its skin that's moving around throughout its body. And it does seem kind of weak and sort of frail, but it's definitely not in any way, shape, or form being very threatening. I am sorry if my appearance disturbs you. I know I have that effect on people. It's not something I can help, unfortunately. I couldn't help but overhear you and your friends at the fire earlier. I heard what you said about seeking atonement. I heard what you said about liking interesting things, being free, looking for opportunities. I may have just such an opportunity. You appear quite formidable and very astute. I think perhaps you can help me. I have no desire to force you. If you
if you're not interested, I certainly won't force you, but I think there would be much for you to gain by at least hearing me out while the others still sleep.
I'm listening, but I do need to ask. They weren't waking up. Fire's not hot. Did you do that?
I thought it more prudent to approach you this way. A few of them, I think, would not react kindly to seeing me and would perhaps be very pointed about it.
Well,
they don't seem to be the kind of people who know opportunity when it presents itself. They seem to be very, very regimented in their way of doing things.
That's true. But, you know, sometimes those regimented, you know, kind of people they're nice to have on your side as long as you can convince them that they agree with you.
I concur. They can also be dreadfully boring and more akin to shackles.
Well, luckily, I have a key to a great many shackles. So go ahead. Tell me.
It's very interesting that you speak of having a key, because in some ways that is what I'm missing. There's a group of people not too far from here. They have something of mine, a bunch of clowns in red robes. They took something of mine. I would very much like to have it back. I think it would be very easy for one such as yourself, gifted in guile, deception, and certainly the art of the martial arts, to get this. And I, first of all, would like to tell you that I am not interested, as I said, in forcing people to do things. I like to make bargains with people who make them willingly and give people the things they really want. And I usually don't ask much in return. This time I would ask for my item. But if you could see it, to retrieve this thing, it is a book made of gold. If you could see it, to retrieve this thing, well, let's just say that there's much I could do for you. Atonement you seek? Power? I'll grant you a boon of your choice. Whatever you want. And this thing that you will get from me, it makes it so that someone who swears an oath on it cannot betray that oath. And I will swear that oath on it to give you what it is that you want. You want to be free, to never have to look over your shoulder again, to never have to answer to anyone again. I can do that. You want your little misdeed from the past to be gone. I can do that.
Talfrin, well, first, does Talfrin know what this creature is?
Not in the frickin' least.
Or the weird splotchiness going on?
Not in the frickin' least. Literally,
seems reasonable.
This is a brand new experience for you.
Literally just being like, what all can I do? Oh. So, I am a ranger. My natural, or my favorite enemy is Fae.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do things to detect if things are Fae around, blah, 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 spell slots, yada, yada.
Yeah, absolutely. Just tell me what you want to do. That's cool.
Yeah, with that, just like either by spending resources, which I'm happy to do, or just kind of having that degree of like connection and that kind of like speciality. Do I get the impression that even if I do not know exactly what this creature is that it is a Fae creature?
No.
Chance?
No.
Okay.
It is very, it feels very much of this earth, almost as if you were looking at an Orkin or another Waldron or a human. Its appearance, notwithstanding, it does very much appear to be of this earth, of this world.
You don't detect, again, as I said, its appearance notwithstanding, you don't detect anything about it that would make you think that it is anything supernatural. And I'm not like being coy, like, oh, it's got all these spells that are protecting it. It literally is just that. It is another living being. It just happens to look off.
And we talked about it before the session, but would Talfrin know about first of all, I was really worried when you said a bunch of clowns. I thought my brain was like, oh, there's literally a bunch of clowns that we're going to have to go fight, which I was like, oh, hold on. No,
sorry.
But the significance of clowns in red robes, would Talfrin kind of have a guess as to what that means? Because Nathan does, but.
Yeah, no, actually, because that group has not been active anywhere in the area here that you would know of. Unless you tell me, if you tell me your character has been to the desert in Carthun, then sure.
Nope. So Talfrin, I think Talfrin, considering all of this, and still maybe not getting a full read on this creature, he thinks that he knows, but also really interested in getting a deal done, as that is a flaw of his. He says, okay, so I'm interested. And I think the others would be useful in doing that, in accomplishing this. Just because, you don't want to have backup, right? But it's interesting for me. I could maybe sell it to one or two others. Do you have any more intel that I could feed some of those do-goodery or the law-abiding or the do the right thing part of the crowd?
There's one in your group, the elder of your group. There's not much I can do about her. She is very much beyond my abilities to influence.
I feel the same way.
Unless I spoke to her. Oh, I'll tell you something in a second. You can tell her. The other two, I can handle. When you awake tomorrow morning, they will see something that will intrigue them. And if they follow that trail, perhaps at your suggestion, they will end up pretty much where you need to go. And as far as the dangerous one, if you're having difficulty, and only if you're having difficulty, because
understood,
it's a little bit of a strange box you'd be opening if you tell her this, but you can tell her that you had a dream of Erminaz. This should be meaningful to her.
Always good to have in the back pocket.
If you succeed in finding my book, you can't miss it. It's made of solid gold and it doesn't actually open. It doesn't have pages. And it has the screaming face of a woman carved in the front of it. I'll find you.
I guess technically that's not really a lie of omission, but that feels like useful information. I guess. Thank you for sharing it at some point. Well, we'll see. I'm interested. We'll see if you deliver on your promise tomorrow. We'll see if they get pointed in the direction, and we'll see how we're all feeling the next day. So hopefully I'll have a nice golden book in my hands sometime tomorrow.
I knew you would not fail me. Sleep well, Talfrin.
But you didn't see, how do you know my name?
The shadows whisper many things to those who know how to listen. I've been listening to you all night. They said your name like 10 times while you were cheating at cards.
I mean, yeah,
It's
I said it out.
magic.
As soon as they said it, it was one of those like, it's probably been, yeah, okay. You got me there. That's fair. And then Talfrin just like pauses awkwardly and just kind of like steps backwards, like walking backwards back towards the camp.
And as you walk backwards, you wake up and it's early morning. Birds are singing. The snow has stopped falling. The rest of you is stirring as well. And as you all kind of wake up and stretch and, just start your morning rituals, there's this smell of death. Like just this smell, this pervasive smell of death, like carcasses, things of that nature, just emanating in the entire area now.
Well, that's not good. I think perhaps we should pack up and move.
You can smell it?
Yeah, can't you?
As you say that, you hear a noise, and from the forest, crashing through the forest, comes this deer, this beautiful deer that sort of stumbles, and you can see that his fur is mottled and kind of eaten away by some sort of disease, and he looks very sort of weak, and he kind of stumbles a little bit and then crashes right in front of you and stops moving.
Oh. Can I just take a look at it and see what's going on?
Seems no good.
You approach it, you take a look at it. It has definitely been poisoned and has been sick, certainly for a while. And you can see that part of its flesh had already started to putrefy before it even died. It was basically a walking dead almost, as part of its flesh already started necrotizing on parts of his body, and it's just sort of finally caught up to it.
And this is nothing that I've ever seen in this area before.
No. One of you, whoever would happen to be looking in that direction, you see that little river near you, the bridge that you were going to be going over this morning. There's something bumping against it in the water that's trying to kind of get under but can't, and it keeps like coming bonk, bonk, bonk.
Nothing feels right here. I think we should continue on immediately to the gate. What do you all say? I mean, it's lovely here, but not all of it is lovely. Let's go.
Anyone going to check what's in the river, or are you just going to?
No, Talfrin's going.
I'd like to check what's in the river.
You see in the river the body of what you would call a giant. Thanks to your recent experiences, Clothgilda, you know that it's a titan. So it's about 9 feet tall, 9 to 10 feet tall. It's got a darkly colored skin, dark red colored skin. And it looks like it's been in the water for a while. And you can clearly see that coming down the river, if you look up a little bit, there's another one that's kind of hanging off the side. And then you can see a few more dead animals along the way, and it's clear that the water itself coming from down the stream is thick with this viscous black liquid that sort of shimmers in the light as it sort of rolls down. You can see the fish also have been dying in this area, and that's the smell that you've been smelling, all these dead fish and animals on the side of this thing. And you can see a few more of these titan bodies going up along the river.
This is terrible. Have any of you seen anything like this before? I haven't.
No, and we should go right now.
I don't disagree with you. We all have a goal in mind. We should get moving.
Now you're interested in I mean, I thought this was all, oh, we got to do the right thing, and we're all, I mean,
right.
We're tree people, right?
What right thing is there here?
We should at least check. We're not in a rush. You wouldn't let me go to all the other places. This seems interesting.
We are in a bit of a rush. We need to be at the gate when it opens. Also, this is very dangerous.
I mean, for others, we can do. The four of us, we got this. We should just check it out.
Very
What
interesting.
do you think?
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, just Clefgilda, what do you think of this?
You can check quickly. They're like leaves floating in the stream, except Titan corpses.
Gilda, we need to get you to the gate. There are dead Titans here. I mean, this could take us a while.
There's something at work here, those Titans. They should be infected with necrophage, but they're not. And it's very strange. It's like they were cured.
An hour. We'll take an hour, little investigative jaunt, and if we don't find anything, we'll head to the gates.
Right, let's move.
I will hold us to 1 hour.
Same.
One. Or 5-minute break. How about that?
Hey.
All right. So as you set off to go back up the stream of the river to see what's going on and what's happening with these dead Titans floating down the river, we shall take a 5-minute break and refresh ourselves. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We're very happy you guys are all hanging out with us. Thank you. There was some great role playing there around the fire. That was pretty awesome. I loved it. Loved every second of it. Thank you very much for hanging out. We will go away for a few minutes, but we'll be right back. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for sticking around. We super appreciate you. Thank you for the advantages you've gifted the players. They may need them in a few moments. So leading up to this, the erstwhile heroes, or erstwhile companions, have been traveling north, trying to get Clefgilda and in fact Talfrin to a certain spot up north at the gates of Dawn and Dusk. Actually, you're heading towards the Gate of Dawn. Very specifically, there's two, and one's on the other side of the other mountain. On the way up there, you played a little game of cards, sort of pseudo-revealed a few secrets about each other, and then went to bed. And while you were sleeping, Talfrin was called upon by a strange creature with fawn-like features and ram's horns, hiding out under the bridge, who looked quite wounded and weak, and who needed Talfrin's help finding a thing of his that he's misplaced, a book made of gold with the screaming face of a woman engraved on the front cover. It's not an actual book, it is just in the shape of a book. This creature has offered Talfrin quite a few things in exchange for him finding this book for him. So we'll see what happens with that. The creature has told Talfrin that its name is Ermunaz. We'll see if that comes out also. But, you know, a lot of weirdness going on. And if you want a good tip, never talk to font-like creatures hiding out under the bridge. So that's all I got to say about that. But if you did, it'd be boring, right? If you didn't, it'd be boring. Everyone happy and refreshed?
Yeah.
So you've elected to travel north and east, looking for the source of the dead bodies that you found in the water, the dead bodies of Titans. Clefgilda, you've encountered Titans recently. You had encountered two, in fact, that had found an object that had, when they had touched it, had cured them of the necrophage. Their entire population has been infected supposedly with necrophage, or was infected with necrophage. And these two were cleansed when they touched this purest vessel that you'd been looking for. And you heard that they eventually, Stovepipe told you they'd gone away with that. that item, and with the intention of curing their people. And now you're finding the bodies of Titans in the water who, while they are dead, don't appear to be suffering from the necrophage. So you're wondering perhaps if there's any sort of connection there between those two things. And as you travel along the river, you notice everywhere dead animals and all that. And eventually, as you're traveling, you start to realize that it's part of what's going on is that the bodies that are in the water have begun corrupting the water, and the animals drinking from it have begun. This is something that should have taken a long time to happen, and it's apparently sort of happened overnight, which is kind of a little strange. The other thing that you notice as you're traveling along this river, the day is very sluggish because it's very cold and it's starting to almost be ready to freeze. It's very shallow, kind of the river, just enough for these Titans to kind of float. You find maybe 10 or 12 bodies of Titans, and they seem to have been killed with weapons, but they seem to have been killed. Some of them look like they've been killed in combat, but some of them look like they were just executed. Some of them still have wrists tied behind their back, their throats cut, and what have you. Others look like they maybe fell in battle. But you find a good dozen bodies as you go up the river, and it's clear that as you're advancing, you're heading in the direction of those plumes of black smoke that you were seeing rise a little earlier. And as you crest a ridge and come out of the forest, if you want to take a look at the map that we have up on Owlbear Rodeo, you arrive and see laid out before you this vast camp that doesn't look like it's been there for very long. The area around it, the trees look fairly recently chopped, have been used to build the palisade. There are tents upon tents upon tents in this place. You're seeing huge fires that are billowing up that black smoke. There's easily, obviously the map is not super to scale, but there's easily a few thousand people housed in that camp right now. And like I said, it's very recent that it was built. As you find yourself, so you'll be approaching it from the direction here. You've come off of the road a little bit, come up the river. So, oops, I'm moving stuff on my desktop. You have, hold on, let me just do this here. It'll be easier if I do this, like this, and then this. So you have come up, having followed the river and crossed it, you've come up here and find yourself on this little ridge here, hiding out in the trees, and seeing this camp laid out in front of you. I would like you to do two things for me. I would like to get stealth checks from everyone, and I would like to get perception checks. Now, the way I like to do stealth is I'm not going to make you roll every action or every turn. You'll give me your rolls, and they'll last for a while. So if you want to re-roll them or spend something to get a good roll, because it's going to keep you for a little while. So you can sort of think on that. We'll have the stealth, and then we'll have the perception check. So we'll have Cloth Gilda, we'll have Hitland, Lucia, and Talfrin. So if you want to give me your rolls, and if you want to spend some of the inspirations you've got, you can.
Talfrin pops the hood on his cloak and kind of dissolves a little bit into shadow and rolls a 24.
On the stealth? Nice.
Yes.
Lucia?
Also,
Sorry.
Lucha burned an advantage and has a 22 for stealth.
Okay. You were going to say, Cloth Gilda?
24 for stealth. And did you also ask for perception?
Yes, please.
Oh, I burned the advantage and just a 14.
Okay. Kaylin?
I used one of my advantages and I got a 24 on my stealth check and a mere 13 on my perception.
Not only can you not be seen, you cannot see.
Nope.
Lucia, on your perception?
22.
Nice.
Whew.
And
I see
Talfrin?
all.
Oh, sorry. I got a 15.
Okay.
I forgot my character's name for a second.
That happens to me all the time. I'm like, my name is Roberto.
Chomper? Yeah.
Chomper. Chomper at the bits. Thank you very much for these advantages to who was it that had given us Fantasy Animal Vegan? Thank you. Making good use of it. All right. So as you sort of gather up on that hill there and find some cover amongst the trees, Lucia, and who else? And Talfrin, both of you have rolled high enough that you notice manning the walls and guarding the gates are these fun-loving individuals. They mean nothing to you, Talfrin. They're very strange. Their skin has a metallic sheen to it. It is blue and has a metallic sheen to it. They look almost like desiccated corpse to a certain degree. Kind of scary. They don't move like corpses or anything like they move fluidly like anything else you would see. They have red markings on their face that you can't really decipher from where you are. They have long, double pointed ears with red at the tip. Also, their armor is all old and beat up and kind of dented. Lucia, you've not seen one of these, but you've heard of them. So there was this rumor, and Clothgilda, this goes for you also because you, Clothgilda, have actually seen some of these before. There was rumor, Lucia, that in the dying days of his reign, the Necro King, who was defeated over 50 years ago, had in his last-ditch attempt to retain power, created these creatures out of the necrophage, which was the power that he wielded, that sentient virus that he used to control people, basically, and demons that he'd summoned from some other world, and he'd taken these demon bodies and had them infected with necrophage, and it gave these creatures, and unfortunately it was too late for him, but you had gotten wind that one of the followers of Fugue, the one called Darkath, had been toying around with creating some of these. You, Clothgilda, if when you do see them, will recognize them as such. You do know that down in the old laboratories of the Necro King Darkath had been busy recently recreating these creatures. The thing about them that you know, Clothgilda, is dangerous is that they spread necrophage. So for those of you who might not know, in the audience and perhaps among the players, the necrophage is sort of the main baddie, or if you will, of this world, where it's a sentient virus. And what the virus does is that once it infects people, it takes over their mind. It starts to necrotize their flesh so that it can feed on it. And then it takes over the minds of the people that it's possessing, forcing them to go out and spread itself so that it can propagate. And as soon as it invests into a new host, it starts necrotizing. It doesn't kill them. They're not undead. They're still living. They're just rotting. And it feeds off of that. And it had been gone for a long while, but there were rumors of it, the plague sort of reappearing. But both Talfrin and Caitlin, you wouldn't know too much about that because it's kind of old stories. Back in the day, people did this thing, right? So it wouldn't mean too much for you. And you certainly haven't heard too many rumors about it. But you, Clothgilda, would know that these things spread the necrophage, and it's very dangerous to be hit or injured by them. You also know they're not undead, so they're not affected by things that normally affect undead. So you see this at this point. It's just Lucia and Talfrin that see the dude. I assume maybe you pointed out so that the others. Sorry. So you would know. This place appears to be manned by a couple of thousands of these things.
Well, I do think it's probably been about 59 minutes. Should we go? We've seen what it is. Let's go to the gate.
Yeah, I don't know that this is our fight necessarily. At least not now.
Do the splashes and such, like, does that remind me of the thing that was underneath the bridge?
Sorry?
The like splashes and stuff kind of on their skin. Does that remind me of the thing under the bridge?
Oh, they don't have they have red markings. The thing under the bridge.
Got it. I misunderstood.
Black. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, they have red markings, which if you ever get closer, you'll realize it's just that they're engraved. No, the thing under the bridge had black sort of oiliness moving underneath the skin. You know, Kaylin, that this was not here when you came up here the last time you came through here.
They must have put this together fairly quickly. It seems established, and it hasn't been that long since I've made this journey, so I don't think we should engage. I think we should find our way around and continue on our path.
I tend to agree with you on this. As interesting as this might be down here, I do think we need to move on. What do you think, Gilda?
I did mention that we should be doing things that excite us. Maybe we just take a little look.
Maybe we take a look, but we don't engage. Does that satisfy everybody's desire for excitement here?
Aren't we taking a look right now? What else do we want to do? Cloth Guild, do you want to go in there? We don't.
It's a little. By the way, don't let those things touch you. All right, let's go. And she'll dart off into the night. Well, I guess it's the day.
Yeah,
dart off into the day.
It's the day.
Into the bright morning.
Into the bright morning. So what would you like to do? Do you want to try to get in? You want to go around it? What was it that you would like to?
Catelyn would suggest going around it.
Yeah.
Maybe finding other, bits of high ground where we can observe from a safe distance and then be on our merry way.
I'm happy to go around it just until we can figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Telfrin, I have to admit that your silence is worrying me just a little bit. What are you thinking right now?
I'm trying to be quiet. I thought we were being stealthy.
Okay. Can I insight check him?
Sure.
I feel like that's not something that he...
Are you trying to
about?
dissemble, Talfrin? If so, you can roll your deception. If you're not, then...
Yeah, yes-ish. I also feel like Talfrin is sort of chattering along a little bit, but I mean...
It's okay. I rolled a natural 1, so it doesn't matter.
We're trying to be quiet.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Oh, sorry.
No, let's make our way around.
All right. So the thing that you realize as you start going around this, and the thing perhaps that, worries you a little bit more, is that this is very clearly a staging camp. They are very obviously preparing to march somewhere for war. Basically, they have weapons that they're preparing. They're stocking wagons with that stuff. They have engines of war. And there's a lot of action in the camp. Like, people are moving around back and forth. There are blacksmiths working. There's definitely a lot of industry, and it really looks to you like this is just a temporary staging area. They are moving somewhere. Let me show you just. I'll show you the map of the world here quickly, just to give you an idea of sort of where all this is sort of taking place. So on the map of the world, you find yourselves right now here in this area. Okay. So if we look at the world, you're in this area here. You're heading for here. This camp is in the forest over here. There are settlements nearby, including this tower is a human tower, as they've started kind of spreading around and sort of, oh, we're just going to put a tower here, don't mind us, up the eastern coast. Here is where the Orcan live, Rukin. Here is where the Highland Dvergs live, and this is where you guys come from, the Wildren. So from here, it's likely that if they're going anywhere, it's somewhere down in this area. They're staging for somewhere around here, because there's not much up there for them to kind of raid and attack. So whatever it is they're doing it soon, and they're planning to go somewhere and fight. Oops, that's, you see this is Norgaden, so you're kind of up in this forested area now. It's not the map I want to do, but here we go. So as you go around the camp, that's what you're seeing. You can sort of decide how you feel about that. Certainly, Caitlin, I don't know how Talfrin would feel about that. Certainly, Caitlin, I'm sorry, I'm so terrible with your character's name, Caitlin. Certainly, Caitlin, this is worrisome because, yeah, you had no idea this anything like this was happening. That there's some sort of army of monstrous things. Like, even if they just go down one day, they're going to hit that village that you were just in. Like, this is pretty worrying to you. Like, not the kind of thing that you necessarily want to just say, oh well, and kind of go on your way. As far as Clothgilda and Lucia are concerned, you obviously know that there's stuff going on because you work for the bad guys. You work for the bad guys, and so you know that there's some sort of thing that's being prepared. You don't have all, it's above your pay grade a little bit, so you don't know exactly what all the parts are, but that there's a camp here of this is also kind of, to you, interesting and kind of curious, because you had no idea that there was any sort of planning at this stage sort of going on. I'm just trying to kind of give you a kind of holistic idea of how your characters might view this camp being there. It's not insignificant, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, that it's here. It portends terrible thing. As you go around it, you will notice that there's a little part, I'm sure you've noticed, that's built up here a little bit further up. There appears to be a sort of grotto or an access to a mine or something to that effect that's been separated from the camp. And a couple of things you notice as you'll kind of go around and sort of look into this thing. One, you'll notice that there are a few dead bodies of Titans that are attached to posts and that have been shot with arrows or killed in some other way. They've been executed. There's maybe like 7 or 8 of them around here. You don't recognize any of them, Clothgilda. The other thing is that in this little sort of courtyard, you will see these fine-looking fellows hanging about, or you'll see a couple of them moving in and out. Damn it. I got the low-res one. Damn it. There are these fellows in red robes with these bronze masks on their face. There's a couple of them outside, and then they move kind of inside and around the area. Lucia, your friendly ghost, will tell you that it's definitely feeling powerful emanations. There's some powerful magics that are being worked sort of in that area. I can't tell you more than that. It just kind of feels that there's something sort of going on in that area of note. And yeah, you can finish going around the camp, if you will, and you will notice that while it is guarded, during the day it would probably be difficult to break into it. At night would probably be easier. You do know, Clothgilda, those things see in the dark. At least to a certain degree, so that makes it dangerous anyways. But so you'll go around the camp, it'll take you maybe like 30, 40 minutes or so to, stick into the trees and kind of go around and notice all these things. You will find yourself sort of gathered up again, having seen all of that. And I guess wondering what you want to do.
Am I pretty sure this is a camp of people even if I don't know them or like on my side or allied with?
Yeah, you know that Darkath was making these things. You have no clue where Darkath is. You haven't seen him in a while. But Darkath, of course, works for Fugue. So theoretically, you're working for Fugue. But yeah, of course, remembering your actual original sort of mission, right? If there is in fact Shadesong coming back, how does that affect your willingness to keep working for these people, so on and so forth? So those are things to kind of keep in mind as you think about this. And as for you, Talfrin, you're pretty sure that mine there is where what you need is, because there are a bunch of clowns in red robes there. Not the bad kind of clowns, the evil kind of clowns.
So I have one question. Would Catelyn and I have any inkling? It sounds like at least Cloth Gilda is not like against this particular encampment. Would we have a sense of that at all? Like, would we get that impression, know anything, or would we just assume people are around here, they're crazy kooks in robes, and no one's like, that's not a great development property value wise for anyone around here?
No. So the thing with this world, it's been at peace for a long while, and I like to say that day to day, it's like a normal world. Like there are no towers with wizards in it here and there. There are no dragons in the mountain. There are no monsters running around. There are no things like that. Like this is aside from the fact that there are magic users and magical items and magical races like Orcans and whatnot, this is a very kind of down-to-earth world. Finding a camp full of monsters in an area like this is really like WTF. Like this is not normal. This is really weird. This is really strange. It really, really sort of sticks out as being, as I said, worthy of note. Like it's not normal. It's not normal.
How far away from like the nearest major settlement would we be? Obviously, we just came from a town like the day before. But that was the town. That was podunk, nothing, whatever kind of thing. But
for like something major, it'd be the capital of the Orcan nation, Trust, which would probably be about, I'd say, a week's travel, maybe.
So not like, ooh, let's run off to the city and tell someone about this, and so that they can do something about it.
Well, I mean, there are smaller settlements in between. Like I'm just telling you what the biggest one is. Like the village is like, a day away from here. The next big settlement would be like maybe like half a day or a day after that kind of thing.
Right. I mean, in terms of like, yes, and then they can rouse their standing army.
The cops,
and then,
it would be a much
and then come and
it would be a much more involved decision. It's not Paul Revere here. It would be like, you're not going to get it done in one night.
Well, this seems bad. This seems right. This is bad. I don't know what this is. I don't know any of this, but this can't be. This can't be good.
You're correct. I haven't seen anything quite like them. I do have concerns. They seem to be preparing for something, and I don't know what that is exactly, but it doesn't feel right. Though I don't know what to do about that.
No, me either immediately. And like Talfrin kind of like turns to the other two if they're assuming they're still by us. How are you guys reacting to our reactions?
Luch is kind of like still really just wanting to leave. But she's very, very kind of like single-minded about getting Clothgilda to the Dawn Gate of Dawn. And this will be a major delay.
Clothgilda is not like dismayed. I think she's just interested. What's going on? What's happening here? But starting to give in to Lucha's hey, let's go back.
I do want to reiterate for Clothgilda that the info that Stovepipe gave you about the Purest vessel was that the two Titans had run off with it, looking to cure their people, and the Titans you've met so far have been cured, and there's more of them in that encampment up there.
That's right.
Yeah, I thought that
forgot about that.
Sort of flown over.
Not vaguely interested in that. Let's go inside, shall we?
Ooh, what? I mean, I'm not against it. Just what?
You're not against going in it? I want
to hear the options. What? Wait, but what do you mean let's go in?
I think they might have something of mine, so let's go pick it up really quickly.
Hold on. What could possibly be so important that we have to stop and subject ourselves to what appears to be horrendous danger when we have a place to be?
Do you know them?
Yeah, we could. They're friends of friends.
What is it that you need to get? I mean, I'll support you in having to go in and get it.
Oh, thank you, Lucha. We could just pretend that we're bringing these two in for questioning, make our way in, do a little look around. I get my vessel. We head to the gates.
I like part of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
If they know you or you know them or friends, how close of friends are you to their friends who are also your friends? First of all, what's the? Because it'd be great if we could just walk in, all of us. We could be like, they're with us.
Your vibe is not quite right.
I can have a lot of vibes, to be clear.
Show me.
Talfrin immediately just risking life and limb, mind you. He knows this. Just goes up and if you're standing next to a tree, does one of those hand along the tree, kind of leans in. This vibe. Or this vibe.
This is precisely why we should not go in there.
Bring in corpses, maybe.
I can also be very quiet.
If we must, if this is something that we have to do, maybe we don't allow ourselves to be seen by anyone at all. We could wait until night and get whatever it is.
To get to the Dawn Gates, and they'll be able to see you at night.
Yeah, and these definitely feel like the kind of people that. Look, I'm not. I like when I don't have to ask for things. That's great, but I don't also. They're not really the kind of people that you want to not have asked, I think, if they find you. So if we can just go in, if we trust that we can just go in.
At the very least, I don't think they'll kill me on sight, or Lucha.
That doesn't offer much comfort.
Will this thing that you are getting in there, will this help you complete your job on the other side of the gate?
It's something our mutual friend desperately needs.
I see. We should go in and get it.
Luch. Okay, so are we going to just walk in, announce ourselves, a few strangers, someone they might know vaguely, and say we're here to pick up our things?
Yeah, Cloth Gilda, you definitely need to go first.
Mm-hmm. Look, I think it makes the most sense to bring you in as prisoners. You look like you look like you have nice parents.
What does that even mean?
It is true
But-
for me, though.
If you'd like to follow behind us and stay quiet, that's your choice. I don't know that it's the safer one.
I guess my only question here is, if we go in as prisoners, how do we leave as free people and not, end up in a cell somewhere thwarting our end of the journey?
That is not something that had occurred to me, and it's a fair question.
Yeah.
Could we say that they are our prisoners and you just needed to come by and pick something up, and they are very, very valuable to our mutual boss?
Yes, like we couldn't access the Gate of Dawn without them or something like that.
Yes, so don't touch them or us, obviously, and then give us our thing and we'll go.
This is a solid plan. I see no issues.
Nor do I. Let's go in and get this. I mean, we are beyond the hour at this point. We need to go.
I suppose if we're going to do this, we all need to be invested and do our best. So yes, I will fully participate. In fact, I Clothgilda, you said you haven't experienced much joy recently. How would you like to punch me in the face to make it look a little bit more realistic? If we're going in as prisoners, we look very safe. I'll give you one shot. Clean, just bare fists.
I was having a really rough week.
Yep.
And
yep.
I appreciate it. I needed this, I think.
You know what? Give me a solid 1-2. We have to sell it. And if you don't mind, I would love to be the one to punch Talfrin.
Oh, I would never.
That wasn't really on the table, just to be clear.
Well, you got to get bloodied up somehow. So we're going to make this happen. Clothgilda, let's go.
We could just get in line.
The little 1-2. She's not very strong, so they are not. They're not, and she's not actually trying to do a lot of damage because she's happy for the offer. So they're just little jabs.
Catelyn's leaning into it a bit. Did you even draw any blood?
I normally use blades. I didn't realize my hands now actually hurts.
Okay. I am realizing now that this is perhaps a poor idea. Although, now that I've received my injury, Talfrin, let's go.
Talfrin
just
turns to you and has a flawless black eye on his already applied as he hastily puts away his disguise kit that he is proficient in and does own.
It's not even fun.
It's fun for me. That's what's important.
You can't not appreciate his skills, though. I mean, maybe he is annoying in other departments. No offense, but the skills, mad.
It's true.
Let's do this. Tick, tick, tick.
I'll hand over my weapons. I need all of these back. Can we guarantee that at least?
I would not take your weapons. Well,
Fantastic.
I'm literally taking them, but I wouldn't.
Sure.
You understand.
Just in
This
case
one is
something
my bow,
goes
Catelyn.
down.
Don't confuse them. This one's mine. That one's yours.
Couldn't possibly. Okay.
Do you think you should have something hidden on you, though, just in case something goes down?
Oh, I do. I only
Cal and
gave
I
her-
imagine Cal and I like look at each other and like laugh. Where it's like, yes, we should definitely just now hide a weapon somewhere on
Yeah.
our person for the first time, as opposed to
We
just
had not
stand
thought to
and-
keep something.
stand and stare at you. Yes, I don't have any of those.
I think we'll be okay. But good looking out.
I say in my head to my person, my ghost, we will kill him later.
Music to my ears. Those blue creatures are very interesting. If you can get a close look at one of them, I'd like to get a sense of what they are. They're very fascinating. Very fascinating. They seem to be dead yet not dead. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
I'll
So you
get
head up to the front door, basically.
Yeah.
As you approach, two of those blue metallic skin guards.
Actually, before as we approach,
Yes.
Talfrin is, we're lined up in like prisoner formation, I guess, whatever that is. And Talfrin uses this as an opportunity to whisper into Clothgilda's ear, just super casually. Not at all awkwardly. Ooh, I got blurry. Sorry. Whatever. You get it. It's a face. There's a human here. And will very quietly, very subtly, just whisper that, like, while we're in there, I would really love to go look at that mine area. I got a hot tip about something that I might actually be missing from a mutual friend.
Who?
It was an something, and what was it? Ermin Trout, Erminaz, I think.
What? Fine, we'll get you to the mine.
Thank you.
So as you approach the door, two of those blue metallic skinned figures, see you, of course, and one of them turns around and yells something inside, and you can see a bunch of them sort of approaching, and there's 3 or 4 of them that come out, and they got swords out, and they're, kind of taking your measure sort of thing. And then one of them kind of sniffs a little bit the air, and he approaches a little bit. He's looking at Clothgilda. He says, "You better mark. Who are you?"
I'll show the mark. Clothgilda, here for something Darkath wanted.
Stay there. Go back inside, and a few minutes later, you'll see another one arrive. Approaches, "The captain's coming." And then this woman, I guess, comes out of the camp, approaches you. Very, then metallic blue skin and those red etchings. It's very upsetting. Like there's nothing very good about sort of any of it. But she'll approach and she'll be like, she'll walk up to you, Clothgilda, and she'll kind of look you up and down. "So that's Clothgilda. I would have thought you would be taller. What in the 9 hells are you doing here?"
You went to pick up the vessel and to look in your minds.
What you just said to me is very strange. I'm not sure that I quite understand. Are you here officially?
Yes.
How come I wasn't informed?
Does Darkath tell you everything in his plan? Who are you?
My name is Breka.
Great. I will forget that the moment I leave.
You don't have to be that snooty. That's fine. Come on in. What's with the retinue?
Lucha, you've heard, I'm sure.
Oh, Clavia's puppy. Yeah, I've heard of you.
And our business, some forest folk we picked up and are using for a task.
Oh, these look tasty. She'll come over close to Talfrin.
Don't
Looks a little bit
touch.
to chew.
Only look.
Where are you taking them anyways? As she kind of signals you to follow her. Where are you taking them anyways?
Further north.
What'd they do? Would they piss off?
Me.
And they're still alive? What I hear about you is that you kill people that like you, let alone people who have been a problem for you.
I need them. They're walking corpses.
Do you want us to take care of it?
I'll handle it.
Okay. So anyways, here's vessel, you say?
Yep.
Can you describe that?
It's do I know what it looks like?
You saw it the other day. It's like this sphere, and it's got like swirling gold and black in it.
I'll describe kind of what I saw and said it would have been with the Titans.
Oh yeah, they had that. They had it. A couple of them ran away, and I guess they took it with them.
Is no one competent?
There's one of them that like just stood and told the other ones to run, and he stood in front of us, and it took like 7 or 8 of my guys to bring him down. He was swinging that double-bladed axe like...
I don't want your excuses.
I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you a story.
When I return, you will have found it and brought it back. Now, the mines, I guess.
I'm not sure we should be touching that thing. It had a very bad,
Use gloves.
Oh, I wish I'd have thought of that. Anyways, anything else I can help you with? We're kind of busy here.
Sure. I need to see the mines.
Okay.
Talfrin, explain why we're taking you in to see the mines.
It was Talfrin. Oh, the chewy one.
You said that there was something, there's an item there. I don't know why you make me explain this. This is very awkward.
You have business with the Red Priest?
Are they at the mines?
Yeah, they've been in there chanting for like the past 2 days. I have no clue what's going on. We were told to let them do their thing. Apparently they're doing something for Fugue.
I'm also doing something for Fugue, and this has been a long conversation. Running out of time. Just
go. What am I holding you back? I had things to do. Just go and talk to them and then start it out with them.
Great. You're doing wonderful work here.
I know.
Commendations. All right, shall we?
And these humans. Sorry, you're Norkin. Man, these Orkins. So she'll turn around and sort of take off with some of the other guards, and a couple of the guards will sort of stand there kind of waiting for you guys.
Talfrin, when we have a moment, we'll like lean in to Clethgilda and once again say like, there's a golden book that we're looking for.
Okay. You'll tell me more about this when we're out?
Let's get it first.
So
you'll cross the camp with them. And like, as I was saying earlier, it's clear they're preparing to go to war. They're preparing to go somewhere and do some terrible things. You don't really know what it is. They really don't pay much attention to you. Like once you're in the camp, they're like really kind of focused on their work. Your ghost is really fascinated by all this. He just can't, he always, get close to that one, get close to that one. And after the first one you get close to, almost like snaps at your face, you're like, maybe it's not such a good idea. But you will make your way into the little enclosed area. And at the entrance of the mine, there's a couple other guards there, but they're not going to go in with you. And then there's sort of a little ladder that goes down. And you can see that there's some sort of partly natural, partly man-made cave at the bottom of this sort of well area. And you can come down if you want. I'm assuming you're going to go that far at this point, but anyways, if you come down, you'll be coming down over there at that end of the map. You can see that the area is probably an old mine, but very, very old, because even though the walls do look man-made, they're pretty flat and tool work. There's roots and all sorts of things that have kind of taken it over. So whatever this place was, it was here a long time ago, and hasn't really served too much. You do find a couple of dead titans at the bottom here also. I probably have a dead body I could put up there, but I'm trying to keep it PG-13.
I think Cloth Gildo's gonna like start slowly handing weapons back to the Rangers as we go. Like, everyone's gonna be ready.
There's a couple of titans. They're stashed away there. You hear echoing through this place, reverberating down these little corridors that you see there, a deep, throaty chant that's kind of ongoing and kind of thrumming along. I mean, two of you are basically servants of evil, so it's not like you're sitting in there going, oh, this place is evil. It's just, kind of weird place. But the other two of you are like, this is pretty unsettling. Like, there's some power here. There's some sort of emanation or energy that really makes you uncomfortable. And Lucha, your ghost will tell you that the spirit that's been following up until now has not come down. He stayed outside. He's hovering at the door and he doesn't know what to do. He's just kind of stuck there, but he hasn't dared kind of come down into this. And you can hear this sort of throaty kind of, chant that's going on and just reverberating through here. And you can sort of see that there's possibly two tunnels or two entryways that you can use. It's bright enough in here, thanks to torches and stuff, that even if you don't have dark vision or anything, you can see fairly well enough. What would you like to do? Will you be attempting to move stealthily?
Well, either way, as we get down to the bottom.
Or are you leaving?
I'm not opposed to it.
I'm not either.
As we're down there, just immediately being unsettled by this, I will utilize some of my magic and cast Pass Without a Trace to help us out a little bit.
Good. I was literally also looking. It's like, what? There's an AOE for that, right? Oh, cool. We can get it all. Great.
Yeah, we got it.
Awesome. So I'm happy to use your stealth rolls from earlier. They were all pretty good. So between that and the cloak and the Pass Without Trace, you guys can pretty much sneak up on whoever and wherever you want. I just need to get an idea of how you want to move. So you can move your tokens. Do you know how to use Owlbear Rodeo, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
So you can move your tokens instead of show me where you want to go. And as you go, you're being very stealthy. So I'll just sort of show you what you see as you go through here. So when you pass this one, you can see down this short corridor, there's one of those Drake Vax things that's standing guard. It doesn't seem to have noticed you. You go all the way around and check down that way also. The tunnel only appears to sort of loop around to the other side. There doesn't seem to be another guard there that you can see. There might be, however, because you can't see on the other side of this thing, right? But you can't see over here, but down here, what would you like to do?
I guess the question is, do the people who feel comfortable in this horrific place feel like they can go up to this creepy individual and be like, excuse us? Or do we need to enact subterfuge?
I say maybe we get the lay of the land first, and that way if things break bad, we'll be well positioned. I don't know that Clothkilda has the sway with the red cloaks that she does with the others in the camp.
Well, I'm following you. This is your wild idea, so.
All right. Stay close, blades out. Here we go.
You peek around the corner and you see nothing except the other guard down there.
I mean, it's faster to just kill him. Is everyone fine with that?
If we can do it quickly and quietly.
Yeah, I suppose. I'll pull out my longbow and just look at them expectantly, like,
Same.
are we shooting? Is this what's happening now? This is what we're doing. This is how this day is going.
Yeah, I guess Clothkilda will pull out daggers.
This would not be my first choice.
Nope.
But we need to get something.
All right, so everyone roll an initiative, and we'll keep the same initiative throughout. Couple little different things for combat. I roll initiative once usually, and we keep it throughout, and then you can move wherever you want within the zone where you are. I don't count movement.
I got a 15 for Catelyn.
All right. Nice.
I got a 24.
Whew.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Hey.
And Cloth?
19.
All right. So this is what I'm going to say for this first one, since you can ambush him thoroughly between all of you getting in action before he does anything, you're just really going to liquefy him. All right. He's not going to get to fight back, so you don't have to worry about the necrophage thing. But a couple of you are going to bow him, and then other people are going to come up to him and sort of whack him. He doesn't really stand a chance. So you're going to kill this thing before it even knows that you're there. Moving further on, as you approach here, you can see that there's another similar guard. Up there. All right. And in the interest of the fact that it's 10:45 and the fact that you get surprised and you're super stealthy, I'll say that you liquefy him also without any real difficulty, simply because you're going to get in action before he does anything. So, you know, let's just be realistic here. So then as you approach and kind of peer around, the chanting is very loud here. So there's definitely whatever's going on is going on just around the corner. And what you see when you turn around that corner, a number of these red priests. So they're standing basically in an area where they've been burning bodies. So you can see that there are those stakes that have been planted in the ground. All of them have chains that have the remainders of bodies that have been charred. The smoke pits that you see, there are big chimneys that are kind of carved out of the ceiling, and they are standing in like a foot of ash at their feet, and they're chanting, and you can see all these bodies that are kind of attached. Many of them Titans, like the last few ones are obviously Titans, but they've been at this for a while. The smell that kind of remains in this cavern is a very deep sort of burnt flesh smell that just assaults the nostrils. And as you're approaching them, you can see Talfrin over yonder on the side there. You can see a bunch of items, like a little altar with a bunch of items, and one of the things they have there is you can see a massive, what looks like a book made of gold. They're saying, and I'll show you a picture later. So if I put it up now, the map's going to disappear. So I'll keep it for later. But they've been burning these bodies, and as you're arriving, there are no more prisoners around. So it's clear that you're arriving sort of just at the time when they're kind of finishing. And a couple of them are digging through this ash. And as they're digging through it and chanting, and you can feel the sort of powerful energy, they draw out of this ash with all the bits sort of falling out of it. What at first you take to maybe be like some sort of large dagger or a sword, but then you realize is the head of a spear. And as they pull it out of this ash, you can see that a good portion of the spear shines with radiant energy. It's golden, and it's got this sort of halo around it, but then a good portion of it has been kind of corrupted and is turning black. And this blackness is sort of moving along it, and they sort of pull it out of there, and then they kind of gather together and they look at it sort of still sort of singing. You literally have no clue what the hell they're doing or what's going on. Now, as you see this, obviously profane ritual, think what you want. You have a choice. You are so skilled at stealthing, all of you, and you have the various spells and all that. It would be absolutely feasible for you to get in there and get that book or that item, the gold book, and get out of here without them noticing, because they're pretty focused on their spear. And I guess, so this is what it looks like. The spear is sort of looking, and you can see that the energies that are swirling around it, it's going to appear at some point, I guess. The energies that are swirling around it are a mix now of this gold and black. It reminds you very much of when you saw the purest vessel, Klaus Gilda, and everything that's gold is starting to turn black. Like you can see whatever they're doing is corrupting this thing. So they have that, they're looking at it, they kind of seem displeased a little bit, like maybe it's not the results they wanted, and they're sort of like toying around with it. And then while we're here, over on this, damn it, I don't have the picture of the book, I'll have to go get it. Over on the side, I'll go get the picture of the book in a second, is the book. So you have a choice to make. You can quite literally grab the book and run if you want.
Nathan, the player,
Yes.
is desperate to stop this ritual, to
Do
heroic things.
It's this.
However,
the game is not about that.
That is not Talfrin, unfortunately.
Do what your character wants. You're building the world.
So Talfrin is definitely like, we can get that book. We can just get out of here. But Talfrin does not love this, because this really has a lot of overtures of like, you know what's really bad for personal freedom? weirdos in robes taking over the world. So that's a problem. But is it my problem right this second? And you know what would really help in kind of retaining that freedom? Weird, magical, mystical boons. So things to consider.
Listen, I'm not engaging with this. So if you want to go get your book, go get it.
I have two
I'm
questions.
not stopping anything.
First question: are the Red Cloaks at all affiliated with Shadesong,
Nope.
or do I know that they're not?
So you would know, Cloth Gilda, you would have been around enough and seen enough to know that the Red Priests, up until recently, were a small group, a small sect that operated out of Carthun Desert. Their main trade is slavery. They have this fortress out in the desert, and they trade in slaves. That's what they do. This is the first that you really ever encounter them outside of that role. They've never been allied with Fugue or with Shadesong. In fact, they didn't exist back in the day. They're fairly recent. They're like 30, 40, 50 years maybe of existence. They're not allied to anything. To find them here in some way now, allied with Fugue, is pretty weird. But
And then
it's Fugue, you know, like.
second question is the gold and black. Does it remind Cloth Gilda or look at all like the vessel?
Yeah, it's got similar the colors and the kind of swirling aspect. And you remember when Fugue had the vessel, the black was kind of taking over it. The longer she was sort of holding it, she was trying to absorb all those souls into it, right? So it does remind you. It's obviously, you know, of a piece. Like there's definitely a connection between the two items.
She'll turn to Lucia. I really want that spear.
If it will get you through the gate, let's
I will
make it
go
happen.
straight to the gate if you get me that spear. If we get that spear.
I draw my two swords.
The second I see Lucha do the same, I've got my bow ready.
My bow has not been ready.
You're going to throw down?
Is everyone, Telfrin, Catelyn, if you want to take the book and get out, we'll meet you outside the gates.
We'll see how it goes.
But first I must find out, if we fight these guys, will the guys upstairs? I mean, you seem to know.
You figure you can probably, this place is isolated enough and sort of away enough that you can probably get away with it by getting out of here and then jumping the wall and heading off into the forest.
Okay, so they might not even hear what's going on down here.
No.
Just do a little bit of murder and get our fun stuff and head out.
Do you do that?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Haha, fools. No. So I would normally have run this combat, but it is 5 to 11. So,
and we are going to obviously smoke them with no problems.
Yeah.
well,
And,
there's-
our highly optimized characters, we're just going to lay waste.
they're all barbarians, by the way. They get pretty ugly.
Ooh.
Oof.
Keep you just away. That's fine.
But between Cloth Gilda and Lucha are pretty beefed up. So you will slaughter these poor red priests who did nothing but, you know, commit the vilest sins ever in the world. You will slaughter them. Like, it's not even going to be fun. You're going to jump in there. You're going to, first of all, for Talfrin and Caitlin, watching Cloth Gilda go is out of this world. Like, she is absolutely a murder machine. Like, the way she moves, the powers that she has, the things she does. If you didn't know before, you now realize that this is a very dangerous person that you've been traveling with. Like, you know, not the bad guy, but maybe the bad guy is lieutenant, you know, kind of thing. Like, there's some maybe, and Lucha is no slouch either. But it kind of wakes you up, I think, to the fact that you realize that you've just stepped into a way bigger world than you're used to and kind of have been expecting. But in any case, you will, without too much of an effort, even though they rage and kind of start screaming incoherently, manage to massacre them. And the spear will be there, as will the book, and I'll show you the book now that I've... So the spear is there amidst the ash and blood now. And the book sits, and again, it's not really a book, it's just in the shape of a book, but it's made of gold. It sits on the little sort of altar there that they've got. Who does what?
I take it.
You take it. As you grab this thing and put your hand around it, you hear a voice in your head that whispers and explains to you that this book is called The Debtor's Anguish, and any oath that is sworn upon it cannot be broken on pain of death.
Seems good. I was worried that my face was suddenly going to be on there, but I don't think Talfrin would have.
No, but you do hear kind of a distant scream as if someone has been cheated out of
Put it
something.
into my pack and put a lot of extra clothes on top to really tamp down the sound.
And as for the spear,
I'll pick it up.
you
Do I
touch.
dissolve?
No, you don't dissolve. You pick this thing up. The first thing that you realize is that there is something of Shadesong in it. You feel the energy, you feel it in there, but there's something else also. There's the antithesis of Shadesong in this spear. There is radiant light and life. And the two things are kind of married together in a strange, harmonious way, the light and the void sort of in balance and kind of weaving around each other. The thing really resonates with power. You've rarely held something that was this sort of meaningful and powerful in your hands. And it doesn't disintegrate you or anything like that. And as you pick it up, it sort of settles. And the three of you see this as she picks it up. You can see the darkness in it sort of grows, and then the light in it kind of grows, and then it settles with the darkness a little bit overcoming the light a little bit as she holds it, and then it kind of settles into this thing with like a little bit of radiant light left and most of it sort of being in darkness. And then it kind of settles down and just sort of thrums lightly in your hand.
We should leave.
Yes.
Is this going to help you? Do you think?
Yes. Dark Island View will be thrilled. Let me tell them. I'd like it to be a surprise.
You will easily find your way out of the mine and then out of the camp and fade away into the forest. I guess the first question I have is, will the two Waldrons keep going towards the gate, or will you do something different?
I'm going to the bridge. If that was the presumption, other than like if I was just holding on to it until he found me again, then I would probably.
He said he would find you. He said if you found it,
Okay.
he would find you.
Great.
Yeah, because Catelyn would insist that we go where we're supposed to go at this point.
Okay, so you're going
We've
to
taken enough detours. I mean, yeah.
As you, and I'm sorry, Andy, I know I told you to stay on the PC cams, but I have one more image to show these guys. as you eventually make your way up to the north, you will approach, after another couple days of travel, the side of the mountain that you've climbed on for a while now, and you will see built into the side of it this giant archway. And when I say giant archway, I mean this thing is like 50, 60 feet tall. And very strangely, even though there's a mountain behind it, as you gaze upon this doorway after dawn on the day of the equinox, you can see beyond it a beautiful green verdant land. And in the far distance, almost hidden away because it's so far, you can see a giant tree that reaches all the way up into the sky. We're talking thousands of feet up. Like, it's just this ginormous tree that reaches up into, and the breeze that's coming through there is smells of spring and fresh air, and just sort of wafts over you as you arrive at this gate. What will you do at this point?
Well, despite a very interesting detour, I would say that this is another successful pilgrimage for Catelyn Horn.
Who?
Where's
What?
that?
Who?
I'm sorry, Catelyn. Me? We got here.
Sorry. What did you just? I think I missed your whole name the first time.
It's Horn. Do you know me?
Where's that ghost right now?
It's standing right between the two of them, sort of hovering and kind of looking at the two of them, and it's growing. You can see it almost sort of solidify and sort of become much more present, not in the physical space, but in as this connection's happening.
And no, I don't know you. I knew another Horn.
Really? I mean, I suppose there are probably many people named Horn, but I had a brother. I have some family to speak of, but
How many of there are you now?
that's a great question. How many are there? I think it's,
The family's fairly small.
yeah.
I owe you. If you
I-
need something, any favor you name, I owe it to you.
That's very kind. I mean,
It is absolutely not.
I mean, this is what I do. I don't expect there's no favor necessary. I'm just glad you got where you needed to go.
Let's say I owe it to someone in your bloodline, and I need you to accept it on his behalf.
Okay. That's fair and very kind. Thank you.
Please stop calling me kind.
I mean, I don't mean to be rude again, but I think you should definitely work on your, hand-to-hand combat. Those punches were a little soft. Is this better? Is this more how
yes,
you
thank
prefer
you.
to? Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
So work on that.
This this seems like an excellent time to just as we're parting and as you are going in to the gate to mention something I've been seeing with you two. You'll still go. This isn't going to change anything, I'm sure. It's just a little floaty thing has been going back and forth between the two of you. I mean, it's I think nothing scary. You've
What?
both I saw you move a little, Caitlin, when it was behind you once, and I think you know what I'm talking about. Is that possibly true? Do you know? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it seems like now as we're parting and you're having this moment, I needed to mention it.
Well, I have so many questions, but thank you, I guess, for telling me.
You see now that the specter is standing around Kaelin and no longer near Gilda. And in your head, you'll hear, it makes sense now. I understand. Story as old as time. First love always cuts the deepest.
Kayla says the first love always cuts the deepest. Does that mean anything to you?
I'll kill you. I won't kill you.
That was not the reaction I was hoping for. I really just wanted to share this with you before you went in, because it was something that was going on between the two of you.
I've never loved anyone. No one by the name of Horn. I'm ready to go inside. Thank you so much for all of it. And you're still alive. You're welcome. And we're parting ways now.
I genuinely hope that one day we cross paths again.
No, you don't. I'm very scary.
Very. And that's exactly why I wish to see you again. Talfrin, please, wherever you go next, don't stray too far.
Too far is all a matter of perspective.
Oh, God. Just take care of yourself.
That I will try my best to.
And where does Talfrin go? Oh, sorry.
Oh.
No, please go ahead.
I think are we all walking in like?
No, Cloth Gilda's walking in. The other two are not.
No, I'm not going in. I've got work to do here. I've got to go back to Clavia.
I think Talfrin is just going to stay in this town for a little bit, just to see who makes a call.
Okay, I can dig it.
And then go from there.
Cloth Gilda, you cross the archway, perhaps more unsure of everything than you were before, perhaps surer of everything than you were before. When you cross the archway and turn around, all that you see is an archway built into stone with the mountain behind it. You don't see the world that you left behind. You find yourself right back where you started several months ago when this entire affair began. You know who you have to find, and you know what you have to do. But for the first time, perhaps, something else weighs on you? How are you feeling at this particular moment?
So annoyed at Talfrin.
That's a natural
Try to live a little while you're out there doing all that living.
I can't hear you.
There's rock. And if you're curious about exactly what Cloth Gilda does next, a few weeks from now, there's an episode called Liv's Daughter that will be coming out that will let us know exactly what Cloth Gilda decided to do.
It's murders.
Murders left, right, and center. All the murders in the world. And with that, thank you so much. We're already running a little over time. I'm very sorry about that, but things were happening. You gotta go with that. thank you so much. You were all so amazing. Like, I absolutely just love sitting there watching you do your thing. You're all so good. So much fun. Let's go around the table again. Introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, what you're doing. We'll go in the same order we went before. We'll start with Beth.
Hi, yes, I am Beth, and I played Catelyn Horn, the rule-following ranger. I am going to be here on this channel for a few upcoming Monday Night Mayhems, so be on the lookout there. Otherwise, you can find all sorts of fun stuff, social media things on my Linktree, which should be linked somewhere. So, yeah, thanks, Bleak.
Awesome.
This was a good one.
Cool. Glad you liked it. I
Yeah.
look forward to doing it again with you a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah.
And as an interesting side note, the character you're playing in a couple of weeks from now is the person who this spear belongs to.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Very fun.
I know. Thank you so much, Beth. Always a super pleasure to have you here. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Nathan.
Hello, I'm Nathan. I'm the Nathan. First of all, I'd like to publicly apologize for not using any of the very cool advantages that chat graciously gave us. I was just too good at all the things that I was being asked to do. But I am Nathan. This has been a pleasure to play with all of you guys. It's a lot of fun. I am the GM for the Reckless Attack podcast. We're a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons actual play podcast. We emphasize great editing, a lot of chemistry around the table, and really kind of trying to capture that experience of friends around the table, but with all the like boring, dumb, bad stuff edited out. A lot of mysteries, a lot of collaborative world building, a lot of adventure, a lot of good versus evil, and most of all, a lot of frogs. Twitter is maybe dying any minute now. So recklessattack.com, new episodes every Tuesday. We also do tabletop role-playing game interview show twice a month, which is also a grand time. Also available on our feeds. That's the spiel. Find us on the places. This was awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I'm really chuffed that you were here. It was great to play with you. Your podcast is amazing. I hope everyone will go and check it out. And hopefully we'll get to mingle again soon. Thank you so much, Nathan. I really appreciate you being here tonight. Shelly, hi, Shelly. What's up?
Hi.
Shelly was brand new to Twitter, actually.
Yes. Let's lead with that. I just joined the sinking ship 2 nights ago, so you can find me on Twitter.
Bad timing.
Yeah, everyone was doing it. That was cool. So I thought I'd get on there at Real Flea Monkey. That's where you can find me on Twitter. Otherwise, I'm Flea Monkey on the chats here. This was super fun. I thank you so much for letting me dip my toes into this super rich, awesome world that you've created. I had a lot of fun.
I didn't let anything. Thank you for letting me invite you to this thing, and I'm certain we will do some more. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shelly. And finally, Molly, our Cloth Gilda, our National Cloth Gilda, the conflicted murder machine.
The murder machine. I'm Molly, or MJ. You can find me on socials at MJ_Russell. Twitch on Heroes Brunch. It's like Heroes Feast with waffles. We'll be back in a couple of months. And thank you. I'm so happy I got to come back and play Cloth Gilda. She's so cool, and I love her. And I want her to keep murdering forever. But I'm conflicted because she's conflicted.
Well, a lot of plans for Cloth Gilda, so we'll see what happens. But it's one of those things where once you see someone play that character, you're like, who else is going to play this character? It's like you're a murder machine in real life, and you just...
It's the greatest compliment.
I know. I'm
putting it on my resume.
I'm built of great compliments. Thank you all so much. It was amazing. I'm sorry for keeping you so late. Thank you to the chat. You were all a lot of fun, and thank you for throwing in and buying these guys some advantages. Tons of stuff going on here, of course, as usual. On Monday next week, we have a brand new Monday Night Mayhem starting with Kevin from Kevin Games GMing a fairy tale fantasy adaptation. It looks so great. I was like, I need to be in this game. I need to be, but I work. Beth, you're in that, I think.
Yeah.
And Shelly, are you in there also? Monday? You're muted. Just another mute.
Sorry? No, I am not in it.
Okay, well,
Shucks.
yeah, it looks super awesome, but Beth, you'll
Yeah.
tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Tuesday, we don't have Greyhawk Tuesday, actually. We're on sabbatical. We're on sabbatical on Monday also. There's no game Monday, right? There's like nothing next week. Am I right? I'm confused.
I think so. Check my
Yeah.
planner.
It's no, next week we have nothing because of the Thanksgiving holiday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We have nothing because of Thanksgiving holiday. Next week we're taking a break. Everything across the board. I'm sorry, I was confused. Nothing next week. Break across the board. Back in 2 weeks with Blade Runner on Sunday, Monday Night Mayhem on Monday, and a new Shadesong on the Thursday. 2 weeks from now. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, Handy. We're going to rate a friend of ours, Phoenixy Wacky. Stick around. Give him some love. Thank you for hanging out. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great holiday for everybody else going on holiday next week. Cheers.